Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Prom Dress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3 Raider Facts, and we're ready to talk some Raiders football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football, even though the playoff dream is over.
It's time to play the role of the Grinch against both the Dolphins and the Broncos to close out the season. 2 more wins, baby.
Today on the show, we will reflect morningly on an overtime loss to the Los Angeles Chargers, which drops the Raiders to 7-7, and all but dashes the team's playoff hopes for 2020. But then on a positive note, we are going to be giving away one more personalized Raiders jersey. So we're going to do our part to spread a little bit of holiday joy.
Yay.
I need holiday joy right now, that's for sure. Okay, Raider Nation, we would love to hear from you. So here's how you can get in touch with us. Give us a call on the Only Nation podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com, and we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on Facebook and YouTube at the Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. Also, check out our website at onlynationpod.com. And don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get you some free Raider merch sent out.
On to our first segment.
Here's the latest Raider news.
In the latest news, in primetime action last Thursday night, the Raiders came from behind to tie the score against the Los Angeles Chargers and took the game into overtime, but ended up losing the game 30-27 at Allegiant Stadium. Quarterback Derek Carr pulled up early in the first quarter with a groin injury, and backup Marcus Mariota came in and saw his first game action with the Raiders. But it wasn't quite enough, as the Raiders now fall to 7-7 on the season.
Man, what a way to end the season with the quarterback controversy, right? That's 2020 through and through right there. You know, we need to win 3 games, and we need a team to lose 1 game, and we go out and lose. You know what I mean? And a quarterback gets injured. Like, man, I mean, come on. The injury bug has killed us all year, and now it really just slammed the door in our face.
The worst thing was that the Chargers gave us every opportunity to win that game.
And Marcus got us close. Yeah. He really did.
But the offense was way too different. I know a lot of people are, super excited about his ability to run, and that's all well and good. But, I mean, it was not the passing offense that we were used to seeing all year. There was only a few games where we didn't have a very good productive offensive game, but we do have a good offense. We can move the ball. We can long drives, quick scores, everything we need to do, we can do. We have a great offense, and it looked a lot different under Marcus Mariota. But yes, he did put up a good fight, and I'm interested to see, what he does this game, because I think he will be playing this game, and he should probably play the rest of the year, honestly.
I don't care what offense they run as long as we win.
But
I agree with that.
But I mean, okay. But that's changing everything. That's what I'm saying. If Mariota's the quarterback of the future, then we might as well let him play the next 3 games or 2 games. That way we can get footage on him and make the adjustments in the overall scheme of the offense. That's all I'm saying. It's like Marcus Mariota, yeah, he's a great quarterback, great legs, he can throw, but it changes the entire offense.
That's fine, as long as we win.
Okay. But I don't know. We'll see. He still got to win 2 games, though, right?
I know.
That's the one thing. Everybody's like, oh, man, he came in, he did a great job. Derek Carr's out, man. Derek Carr won 7 games for us. He lost maybe 2, fumbling. But, at the same time, I mean, Marcus Mariota, I hope he wins, though, because I want to end, on a 9-7 record. But
it would be good to just find out what he has and what he's got left. And apparently he still has something left.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, we can know what he has. We got footage on him at this, and that's the other thing. These defenders, right? They better show up and play the rest of this year, because the tape that they're going to put out right now is what's going to. I think Gruden's really going to evaluate and find out who he wants to keep.
I even saw some people throwing out some conspiracy theories that this whole thing had been orchestrated with Carr pulling up with a groin injury just so Marcus Mariota could get in the game. And I just think that's ridiculous.
I saw that.
I've stayed off of social media for the most part.
That's
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right, Derek Carr's injury status has yet to be determined, but in the event that he's unable to play against the Dolphins this week, Mariota looks more than prepared to be able to fill in for him again. It's been a long journey to this point, but it's obvious that Mayock and Gruden have accomplished what they set out to do: rebuild Mariota's confidence. On national television, he proved that his NFL journey is far from over, and he is capable of playing at a high level like he used to.
It was good to see him come in with confidence and have a good game. I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he almost won the game for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if it works out, because Mariota came out and said that this is Derek Carr's team. Of course, that might just be the politically correct thing to say. But if everything works out and we can have both of them, that's ideal for the team, you know. But I'm just, like I said, let's see the footage on Mariota and see how we can integrate that into the offense. Because if you remember at the beginning of the season, I was talking about moving Mariota into, in the red zone in the 5-yard line because we knew he was a capable runner. But the thing is, though, is in overtime, he didn't even run the ball in the 5-yard line. So I don't know if that's Gruden might not like that because that's, a dead giveaway. You need that guy that can call in and audible in and out of that, the play that's necessary to maybe pass if you have to, depending on the situation. We'll see.
I hated the fact that they took the run pass option off the table once they got the first and goal in the overtime, and that they didn't take 4 downs to get it in.
And that's the other thing, Gruden, everybody's like, man, why kick a field goal? Well, you take the points, right? I mean, if your defense can come up with the stop, you win that game. There comes a time when you have to make a stop. When they miss a couple field goals to give us a chance, the defense has to be able to get that stop. There were some calls against Trayvon Mullen I probably didn't like, but, that goes without saying, right? That's every game. And what about the hit on Renfro, right? Oh, my God, that was disgusting. But our defense needs to be able to make a stop, period. All right? We are in a conference that has a lot of winning teams and then a division that has 2 really good quarterbacks. We have to play great defense. And, I know Gunther was talking about not spending enough money on the defense, but at the same time, it's like you had some young talent. And I thought that the defense, they only allowed, 4 points or 24 points, right? Going into overtime. So it wasn't that bad, but they never came up with that stop. And that's what I'm saying. In those close games, we need those stops. And should you spend some money right now on defense? Probably, right? You would think that that's what they're really going to focus on in the offseason. Yeah,
but then again, Gruden loves his offense.
But he has a great offense right now.
Yes, but he loves his offense. He loves to tinker with it. Any shiny, bright toy that he can get for his offense, he's going to do it.
It's too bad that when we bought Malik Collins, he didn't come with a money-back guarantee.
No kidding.
Yeah. No, I think that Gruden knows he's not dumb. He's not going to be some selfish little kid licking his chops, buying up everything on the offense. You got to be able to. Offense wins the games in this offensive driven league. So yeah, you got to spend a little bit more, probably more money on offense, but stagger it a little bit, I would think. And that he won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay's defense, playing lights out. You know what I mean? So he wants that kind of defense. I don't buy that he's just going to keep spending money on the offense.
Well, with the upcoming salary cap issues, we have to take a look at that. They're going to have to spend wisely and kind of pick and choose what they're going to do, because that could be a game changer right there.
Because he did spend money on Corey Littleton, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a bust.
Oh, yeah.
Kwiatkowski came in and played solid.
I blame Gunther for that.
Well, maybe. But, I mean, again, Kwiatkowski didn't have a hard time adjusting, and he missed, 2 games in the beginning of the season, I thought?
I think his potential wasn't reached, though. I think Kwiatkowski could be a lot better. I think Gunther really stifled the linebackers.
But, you drafted 2 good cornerbacks. If Arnett can learn to play safe and not get bashed in the helmet and get himself knocked out, he is a good cornerback. And then Trayvon Mullen, the referees helped, the Chargers. Because he's a really good defender. You got Abram. I know Abram's rated really low right now, but the dude runs he hits people like a missile. You know what I mean? The biggest problem on our defense is that interior pass rush. And you were just saying, getting our money back on Collins there, T3. Sorry, I'm just rambling now.
Yeah, now the defensive line did hold the Chargers to only 96 yards on the ground. So the run defense actually improved over one game. Now I almost said San Diego. Los Angeles doesn't have quite as formidable a rushing attack as the teams that the Raiders faced the last 2 weeks. But still, you hold them to under 100 yards, you have the potential to really win the game.
And it starts somewhere. Be good at stopping something on defense, right? Before last week, we weren't really that good at stopping anything. We'd only started to win, and I guess we weren't really winning though when they started to pick up more of the turnovers, because that's when we went on this little losing skid, But I don't know. We'll see what happens this week, right? You got a long, week, almost week and a half of practice, right? You got all the way till Saturday night. Hopefully, Marinelli can just coach it up. Marinelli, coach up a great scheme, and let's get these 2 wins.
Let's hope we get Furl back too.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. All right, this week the AFC and NFC Pro Bowl teams were announced, even though there won't be an actual game this year. And 2 members of the Las Vegas Raiders were recognized. Tight end Darren Waller, who has had a monster season again, has capped off his inspiring season of rising to overcome substance abuse by becoming a Pro Bowler for the first time. And second-year running back Josh Jacobs, who has been the workhorse for this team most of the year and has put up 10 touchdowns, also made the Pro Bowl. Congratulations to both of you.
Man, I can't believe they didn't put my boy Carr in the Pro Bowl.
I can't believe that Rodney Hudson's not in the Pro Bowl.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Rodney Hudson
right?
for sure. Robbed again.
I still maintain that Rodney Hudson is the best center we've had since Jim Otto.
Well, you all remember what I said at the very beginning of the year before the season's even started. I said Patrick Mahomes was the clubhouse leader as far as quarterback and Pro Bowl, but they really, really wanted to give it to Josh Allen. And I'd be surprised if that wasn't their thinking going in. I think Josh Allen was kind of the leader or who they were thinking about giving it to all along.
Okay.
Just my thought.
No, I didn't expect Carr to be there just because there's so many good quarterbacks in the AFC. But Rodney Hudson deserved to be there again.
For sure.
Indeed.
All right, the Raiders for a second straight year aren't improving after a start that put them in playoff position. They were 6-4 last season and finished 7-9. They were 6-3 at one point this year, but now sit at 7-7 with 2 games left to play after our loss to the Chargers on Thursday night.
I really didn't think we would collapse the way we did last year. I thought last year it was because of the grueling schedule and, that it had just caught up with us. And maybe that is what had happened. But something's going on that we can't finish strong.
Yeah, well, remember we were talking, in the offseason about how tough the first part of the schedule was. So it was almost the same kind of thing. But really, I mean, it's injuries. The injuries. And I know everybody's like, oh, all teams are dealing with injuries. But it's the injuries, man. Like I said, Derek Carr gets hurt, when we need to win 3 games in a row to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? Ruggs is on the COVID list. Ruggs got hurt at the beginning of the season. Kwiatkowski got hurt at the beginning of the season. Brandon Edwards has not come back, and played well. Abram missed, I think, a couple games, right? But he did injure his shoulder. Arnett had thumb surgery in the middle of the season and came back, right? Now he's dealing with concussions. Jacobs has the hip. Ingold had the ribs. Rich Incognito with the Achilles heel. What's his name? Brown. I can't even remember his name, right? This guy, Brown. He played, 2 games all year? So, I mean, it's how you going to win these close games when you have to deal with injuries like that. I think that winning 7 games showed that our roster improved, but because those injuries hit early, but we still had guys stepping up and helping us win games. But then towards the end of the year, it's just too much. It's too much now, because now, if you listen to the radio stations, they talk about how the end of the season is more about matchups, right? Because, the beginning of the season, everybody's feeling everybody out, checking out their film, and it's just about scheme, right? More about scheme. But at the end of the season, that's when your scheme starts to get figured out, but then you know what players are doing what, and you work on the matchups. So we just don't have those matchups right now. And I guess it's kind of stupid to say, right? We were a little bit better in the scheme earlier with Gunther, but, it seems like they'd all slipped back when they really figured out what Gunther was doing in his scheme, so I don't know. I hate to make excuses for the team, but at the same time, injuries killed us this year.
But every team faces injuries. Look at the Chargers. Every single year, they're decimated by it, and they beat us.
Yeah, but we beat them in the beginning of the season. Both games come down to the fucking 1-yard line. You know what I mean? So the NFL is competitive, period. You know what I mean?
The one thing the Raiders have not learned how to do is to win consistently late in the season. They're great coming out of the gate, first half of the season, but then when it gets toward the very end, they just give out of gas.
I believe we have a better team than the Chargers. You know what I mean? We almost came back with our backup quarterback. You know what I mean? The depth. Again, that's the depth. We have the depth. So we've improved, in the offseason, in depth. But we just, durability, I guess, is what the main thing is.
There is one thing that we did last Thursday night. We out-chargered the Chargers.
Found a way to lose.
We found a way to lose.
Man. Yeah. Whether it's Carr or Mariota or someone else, Gruden wants a quarterback that can break from the pocket. And since Gruden has a 10-year contract, it's just a matter of time before that happens on a regular basis in Las Vegas. But for the time being, the Raiders appear to have two really good quarterbacks, which will help with Carr's injury down the stretch run of the season and perhaps moving forward. Carr ran a lot better this year. He ran really good this year.
He ran a lot better this year.
Until he pulled his groin.
He did.
And he ran better last year than he did in 2016. So every year that Carr has worked under Gruden's offense, right, he's run a little bit better. You know what I mean? But like I said, the main thing is when Carr goes out and Mariota comes in, the entire offense changes.
But that's not a bad thing.
And that's the first time we've had a chance to see it all year, too.
It's not a good thing either. You know what I mean? The ideal situation would be to have two quarterbacks that can run and pass in the pocket. Mariota is a lot different quarterback than Derek Carr. They were even saying it on the broadcast that, Mariota does not have the arm, but he does have the running ability. But, thing is, Mariota got figured out too in Tennessee.
He was injured in Tennessee. I mean, he basically lost his job due to injury.
Yeah.
No, he was able to come back that year, but they were already going full-fledged with Tannehill.
So he lost his job due to injury.
The thing is he lost it to a quarterback that was running the offense better than him, right?
Yeah, when he came in, he flipped the switch and everybody started playing well. So not only did he lose to come back from injury, but Tannehill just lit a fire into them that they didn't have.
And I don't think Mariota really got healthy until just recently. I think the entire first part of this year, he was still injured. I mean, he couldn't even throw a ball barely.
Right. I think the week before was the first week that actually activated him.
Something like that, yeah. When Mariota came in against the Chargers, he completed 17 of 28 passes for 226 yards and a touchdown, and he also had one interception. He also carried the ball for 9 times for 88 yards and a touchdown. It's time to start seeing some more dividends from this $17 million man.
Finally getting some production.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty big contract for a backup quarterback.
That is.
Like I said, we've been on a losing skid as a team. So, I'll be interested to see what happens if we lose 2 games with Mariota. Man, please, Mariota, please win these games for us. Please. I'm tired of these losing seasons. But I'd be interested to see what the Raider Nation does if Mariota loses 2 games.
Well, everybody, COVID-19 continues to plague the Raiders. Now, before the Chargers game, wide receiver Henry Ruggs and linebacker Tanner Muse, who's on IR, were already on the reserve COVID-19 list. Then, the day after the Chargers game, Darryl Worley was added to the list. Then Isaiah Johnson was added on Saturday. And now safety Eric Harris has been added to the list as well. For a team that was bragging about how it was going to crush COVID, well, I think all that talk can stop now.
I think COVID kicked our ass this year.
For real.
Yes, we have players walking around talking about crushing COVID. Well, I think those T-shirts have all been burned now. Now, the Raiders should get a chance to see more of rookie wide receiver Bryan Edwards in an expanding role over the next 2 weeks, with the hopes that he can start developing into a quality receiver in 2021. He has been hampered by injuries much of the year, but the outlook is hopeful for the rookie out of South Carolina.
Yeah, I liked what they were doing with him. When Ruggs got hurt, it's almost like they just put him in the same scheme that they were running with Ruggs, with the motions and things like that. Man, and I thought he was doing really well until that guy came down on the back of his heel and really messed him up. And then I think we were talking about a T3. There was that one play where he was laying down in the end zone and it looked like his ankle was twisted.
Yeah, that was early in the season.
Well, he doesn't seem to have bounced back.
Let's hope that he can get some play in the next 2 weeks.
I think he really has the potential to be something good.
I do too, particularly in the red zone. He's that big target. Now, I know it's early to start talking about drafts, but in the latest mock draft, according to Chris Trapasso of CBS Sports, the Raiders may be focusing on Oregon free safety Javon Holland in the middle of the first round in the 2021 NFL draft next spring. Holland is widely regarded as one of the top safeties in the class, and he's considered by some to be perhaps the most complete player in this upcoming draft class. Now, we'll cover everything once the season's over, but it is time to start taking an early sneak peek at some of the players that may be available come Raiders draft time.
Yeah, and our sponsor, the Raider Ramble, they have been running a lot of profiles on potential draft picks. So head on over there, read some of their write-ups.
Never too early to start.
Right. Yeah, I'd be perfectly okay to draft a safety in the first round.
Again.
We need a free safety that can, if you're going to try to, because they still try to run a lot of that cover 3 crap, man. So you need a great free safety when you move, Abram down in the box.
All right. So what do you guys want to see in your stocking for Christmas this year? Homer?
A gift card to the Raider Image for a custom jersey.
You forgot to enter again.
Oh, okay. So
it's like my mother-in-law used to tell me with the lottery all the time, you can't win if you don't enter.
I don't know. Anything Raider related.
T3?
I have a really simple thing in my stocking. I just want to see 2 more wins and a winning record. I would also like to see a little more out of guys we hadn't seen much of this year. Guys like Amik Robertson, Brian Edwards, Vic Beasley, Foster Moreau, and even guys on the line like John Simpson. So I want to see more play from those guys and 2 more wins. That's all I want for Christmas.
All I want for Christmas is wins.
I like that.
It's not asking much.
Sorry, Mariah.
Heidi, what do you want?
T3, you stole what I wanted. I want to see 2 more wins and a winning record. That's what I want to see in my stocking.
Well, Santa could just shop for both of us at the same place.
Yeah, we got our stockings hung over the Only Nation podcast hearth, don't we?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see Foster Moreau contribute more, and I would like to see Brian Edwards start to break out for sure.
Amik Robinson, we need him, because of the Joyner, man, oh God, that did not work out this year. So, if it'd be nice, like you've been saying all year, to move him to safety, Amik Robinson can play the slot.
I want Amik Robertson to go out on the field in the slot and look over at LaMarcus Joyner and say, I'm playing here so you don't have to.
I think Robertson, he ended up being a bigger project than anticipated. He has a long ways to go.
Heidi, have you got something special going on here?
I do have something special going on here today. I have the last winner of the Custom Raiders jersey in my hot little hand.
Nice. Are you going to share that with us?
I am. And it is not Raider Homer. Sorry, dude.
Oh man.
It is Vincent Lopstein.
Nice. Hey, Vincent.
Send me your address, Vincent, and I'll send you mine. All right? Tell it to me.
The clean jersey exchange.
Yeah.
A little barter on the side there.
All right. And T3 will be getting in touch with you to get all your info, and that jersey will be on its way to you soon. I already have most of it, but T3 is going to touch base with you and make sure your order is exactly what you want.
Probably won't make it there before Christmas, but hopefully before the new year.
Woohoo!
Your woohoos are a little bit stronger now.
Yeah, remember when my little woohoos were so sick? So pathetic?
Yeah. We got your woohoo off injured reserve.
It's injured reserve with designation to return.
Correct.
All right, T3, why don't you give us another Heidi's high five?
And now it's time for another Heidi's high five.
All right. In this week's edition of Heidi's High Five, number 1, there's already been talk about Wade Phillips as the next defensive coordinator for the Raiders. Well, what we know is that he could bring in and work to develop a new 3-4 scheme, and they could help turn this defense around in a hurry. But the main question is, whether the room is big enough to hold both his ego and that of John Gruden. But in order to do that, what the Raiders really need is a massive stud in the middle of that defensive line. Number 2, just when we thought that Tyrell Williams was done as a Raider, he came out recently and indicated that he would like to come back next year to the Silver and Black. Well, with the injury history of Brian Edwards, it may be something to consider. But regardless, I think the first thing to do is to re-sign Nelson Aguilar. I believe he's proven himself this year, and he's established himself as a dependable weapon downfield. Number 3, after a stellar breakout rookie year, Max Crosby's been largely invisible this year in terms of getting to the quarterback. I'd really like to see 2 or 3 more sacks over the next couple of weeks and to start building some of that momentum going into 2021. So I'll be pulling for Mad Max against the Dolphins and the Broncos. Number 4, John Gruden said that Derek Carr was 50-50 going into this week's game. Well, at this point, I would have no problem riding with Mariota for another week or 2. But if Derek can go, let's see some 2 quarterback packages inserted into the game plan. It probably won't happen, but it's something I would really like to see. And number 5, I don't know what it's going to take to get the black and white to lay off the silver and black. And I'm talking about the officials. If you can flag Josh Jacobs not just once, but twice during the year for lowering his head and yet turned a blind eye to a charger coming in like a missile, targeting a guy like Hunter Renfrow, well, there's just too much inconsistency with calls and still, in my opinion, way too much bias against the Raiders. And that, my friends, is this week's version of Heidi's High Five.
That dude that hit Hunter Renfrow deserves to be in jail.
That pissed me off, man. That was unbelievable. That's the first thing that came to my mind, too. I was like, and they called Josh Jacobs twice for leading with the helmet. Like, come on, man.
The thing that made me more mad than anything else was the guy came in like a missile, and then even as his teammates were motioning for people to come get him and get some help and get some attention, he just kind of trotted off the field like, no big deal.
Yeah, when I replayed that play for Angria, she shouted, gasping, because she hadn't seen it before. That was malicious. That was dirty. I mean, that's something that could it could end someone's career, it could end their life.
Career, yeah.
If they hit it right.
And Hunter's a really tough kid, too. He's gotten up some big hits over the course of his short career already. I mean, that was just totally uncalled for.
Yeah, the NFL has to address this, period, because it's blatant already. It always has been, but like it's to the point now where it's like we are, I guess, as the fans, the Raider Nation is going to have to do something, protest somehow, some way, write letters, because this is, it's ridiculous. I mean, his neck was all bent over and stuff, and they were just like, no, it was crazy. But I want to get to number 1, though, with Wade Phillips. I really think that moving to the 3-4 would be excellent for us. All right. Thanks to I know in 76 we won the Super Bowl with the 3-4. And in fact, I think all 3 Super Bowls were with the 3-4. Don't quote me on that, though. But I think with our roster, even though we've been drafting for the 4-3, we can move to the 3-4. Like I said, so you would have picture Littleton on the outside, right? Morrow, in the middle, Kwiatkowski in the middle, and then Tanner Muse, on the outside. I really think that will work really, really well because Tanner Muse has the speed and he can blitz and move back. And then, so when you go from the 3-4 to like the nickel, maybe Tanner Muse can be one of those because he is a type of hybrid. Maybe he can be one of the safeties or something, just depending, But I really think we can move to the 3-4 scheme with the roster that we have. We don't really have a great defensive line, so it wouldn't really blow up that defensive line. In fact, maybe adding a guy that's standing up would help the defense, especially in passing, whether it's rushing or defense.
I was really disappointed to see their plan to change Tanner Muse into a linebacker. What is it with this? Tanner Muse, turn him into a linebacker. Lynn Bowden Jr., turn him into a running back. Why can't you just draft players for those positions? I mean, Tanner's too small.
Well, like I said, I don't know.
He's too small.
I think he's fine. Don't you remember Mike Singletary? You know what I mean? I don't know. I get what you're saying, though. But like I said, I think he would be a really good linebacker in a 3-4 scheme.
I think it's worth trying to see what he has.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's worth playing players in positions that they know how to play.
Well, he played linebacker also in college.
Barely.
All right. But I don't think the ego would be a big deal, because he worked with defensive coordinator from Tampa. Anyways, he had a big ego. And Gruden worked with him. They won a Super Bowl together. I think Wade Phillips would be a perfect addition to this coaching staff.
I still like Raheem Morris, but I wouldn't be disappointed if Wade became the defensive coordinator either. I'd be happy with either one.
I'd be happy with either Wade or Raheem. I hope Raheem gets it. I really hope that he gets a chance to not only work with Gruden, but develop some things over years, because if Wade Phillips comes in, he's only going to be there for 1 or 2 years, maybe.
Atlanta would be retarded to let Morris out of there. You give him that coaching position right there because he's already there. I think they're going to keep him.
If I was Atlanta, I'd snatch him up. But some of the talking heads seem to think he's not going to get it.
Because the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, he's going to be coming out. So would Raheem Morris want to compete with that? Probably not going to get the best available job. He'll probably get the second best, or he just stays in Atlanta.
You got to also keep in mind that Gruden really loves his friends. Think about coaches that in the past he's worked with, that he's buddies with. He's going to give them preference.
And think about this too. Raheem Morris will be coming into Las Vegas to brand new facilities, world-class stadium, things that you just can't find most anywhere else.
He's going to be the head coach in Atlanta. That's what's going to keep him there.
And he have to ask himself, is that what I want? Can I stay there and turn that team around?
And as far as Wade Phillips staying only for a couple of years, I mean, you got Derek Carr for, I think, 1 more year and Mariota for 1 more year. So you could see, I mean, if a defensive coach is not around for the next 3 to 4 years, that already you're getting ready to make some big changes on your roster within the next 2 years. So it's almost like if you got a Wade Phillips right now with the 2 quarterbacks that we do have, I think we'd have a really legitimate shot at winning the closer games, or not necessarily closer games, but winning the games that we needed our defense to win for us with Wade Phillips, and then maybe make a good run, a better run anyways.
Well, one thing is for sure, he has the track record of turning around defenses in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the benefit there. And he has been at it a long time, and he is ready to get back in the game. So I know he's really motivated to come into a good situation. And this is a good situation because there's a lot of good young players on this Raiders squad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. Arnett, Mullen, Abram, Kotowski. I think Corey Littleton would work well under Wade Phillips. I think Wade Phillips could utilize him well. Then you got Muse coming back next year. You got Max Crosby. You got Cleveland Farrell, who can play inside and out. You got to decide what you're going to do with Hurst. But that's a lot of talent. They short of the defensive line, that's a lot of talent in the secondary. Even you got Isaiah Johnson. You got who else in the backups in the linebacking core? Anyway.
You still got Morrow there, too. Now, Morrow's not necessarily young, but he's played well the last couple of years.
Yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
And Littleton did great under Phillips before. In fact, so did
Marcus
right, Joyner.
In LA. Yeah.
I mean, he actually played Joyner in his real position, and it worked.
Yeah.
You've still got Javen White on the practice squad, so there's some depth there. Raekwon McMillan has come back in. He's done fairly well. I still think Vic Beasley's got a little left in the tank, and if we can just get anything out of David Irving at all, those are some 4 really good pieces to add into an already good, strong, young nucleus.
Go get you that dirty dog in the middle at nose tackle and get you a free safety. Man, we're looking good.
All right, predictions for this Saturday's game against the Dolphins. Homer?
Oh, my God. The Dolphins have a really good defense. We cannot win at home. I'm curious, I'm curious to see how this is going to work out with Mariota. Now the Dolphins have the footage of how Gruden uses Mariota. I think that's one thing that people need to remember, is that probably helped us last week because, they didn't have any idea how we were going to use Mariota. But my prediction for this game, I'm going to say Mariota pulls it out for us. We're going to win, I would say, probably 24-17.
All right, Heidi, what do you have?
I've got the Dolphins coming out on top, 27-24.
Oh, man.
Well, now I don't have a lot of confidence in the Dolphins offense, but they do have a good defense. But nevertheless, this is the Raiders' last home game of the year, and I see the Raiders bouncing back this week, and I'm going to say 27-17.
All right, Raider Nation, give us a call at 904-701-8667. This is the Only Nation podcast, so we want to hear from the Only Nation. We want to get y'all's predictions for the last game of the season. Tell us what you think is going to happen with the Mariota, Derek Carr situation. Just give us a call. We gave away 2 jerseys this year, y'all. So get involved with this podcast. We're working hard to bring you content and Raider merch. So give us a call.
All right. And this week, we had a call from our buddy John in Glasgow. We hooked him up with a little Raiders care package, and it arrived. He is very glad to receive it, and we were very glad to send it to him. I know it can be kind of tough to get Raiders merch over there, so we took care of him. And here's his message.
Hi, Heidi, Homer, and TC Raider Facts. It's John from Glasgow, Scotland, Damage Incorporated on Twitter. I just want to say a very huge thanks to you all for the pack that you sent me through, all the great Raiders swag, all the beautiful stickers and stuff. Absolutely amazing. You've cheered me right up after that disastrous game on Sunday night, but I really can't thank you enough. I really appreciate how much the Raider family has welcomed in everybody from around the world. I love your podcast, massive fan of it. You, the Pillaging Podcast guys, I love your boy Q. These are my go-to guys, and I love that you keep guys like myself, the other side of the world, in the loop. Everything on there, silver and black, and it's just it truly is one nation, one family. It really is a Raider nation. So again, I want to say thanks. Sorry about the season's not been so good, but we're still silver and black till we die. So once again, thank you very much. Cheers out, John, Damage Incorporated. Murphy's from Scotland. Cheers now. Bye.
And John, thank you. Thank you. This is what makes the nation so special, and this is what makes us the only nation.
Worldwide Raider Nation. That's awesome, getting a call from Scotland. That's badass.
Yep.
Homer, do we have something special coming up?
I don't know. Do we? That was cheesy, though, right? That was super
That was really cheesy. Hey, Homer, did you know?
I hope so.
Hey Homer, did you know?
All right. All I want for Christmas is Petroliana. Petroliana? What? Well, Petroliana, for those who didn't know, including myself prior to last week, refers to gas station collectibles. Petroliana is mainly gas station pumps, globes, signs, and containers from the 20th century. And a very avid and accomplished collector of Petroliana is former Raider quarterback Rich Gannon. Gannon owns examples of all these. He's even recreated an authentic gas station from a bygone era. It all started out with his love of cars, a passion he got from his older brother. When he was in college, Rich drove around an old 1965 Oldsmobile 98 hardtop. Then several years later, after becoming a quarterback in the NFL, his collection began to take off. He had a couple of restored cars, including a 1968 Shelby Mustang and a 1963 Corvette with a split rear window. But when his car collection reached the point where he could no longer park them all on the driveway, he began looking for a storage facility near his suburban Minneapolis home. And that was the beginning of what eventually became a warehouse converted into a car and Petroliana museum of sorts to house all the Gannon collectibles. I thought this story was an interesting little side note to the life of one very memorable Raider. So just like some people collect holiday items, some people like Rich Gannon also collect Petroliana. Who knew? And that is this week's version of Hey Homer, Did You Know?
Man, I miss Rich Gannon.
I collect Raider stuff.
Yeah, I collect comics.
So would that be like Raideriana?
Whatever works.
Now, Homer, do we have something special?
Oh, yeah, man, I'm so out of it. Sorry, guys. Well, that was a great segment there, T3. I appreciate all your work that you put in for this podcast, man. You always got some good stuff, man. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the best segment of the show, Heidi's Heroes.
Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
All right, this week's hero could only be one person, and that's Marcus Mariota. He came in when pretty much everyone that I saw react online said, okay, our season's over now. Carr's gone. He did a great job. Yeah, he did come a little short, but he completed 17 of 28 passes for 226 yards and a touchdown. Had that one interception. But he carried the ball 9 times for 88 yards and a touchdown. And he gave us a chance, which is all what you can really ask for in a backup quarterback. You know, he has had quite a career. You know, not only was he the Heisman Trophy winner a few years back, but found some interesting things out about him. When he was selected second overall in the 2015 NFL draft, he actually had the best-selling NFL jersey in the league. He beat out Jameis Winston of the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Tom Brady, who always has the best-selling jersey in the league. He beat him out, and that was pretty impressive. The other thing that really stood out to me when I was researching him a bit, his very first NFL game, he threw 2 incompletions. That's it, for 209 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he became the first quarterback in NFL history to attain a perfect passer rating in his first career start. So he has quite an impressive background that I never really appreciated with him being over in Tennessee. But I've really enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about him. He is very private. He considers himself a devout Christian, which explains why he gets along so well in the Raiders quarterback room. And he's just an overall good guy. But when I thought about it this week, he was the only one that I could think of could be Heidi's hero, because he stepped up and he almost brought us the win.
I think you want a Marcus Mariota jersey for Christmas.
No, I want to go with the classic. I want a Marcus Allen one that I can wear, because I have a signed one on my wall. I wouldn't mind one that I could wear.
Oh, man, this offseason is going to be brutal between me and you. You know that?
I love you, Homer.
I love you, too.
I'll just have to be the peacemaker. I've got my Rodney Hudson jersey, so I'll be there in the middle where I belong.
Nah, I love Carr. You know that. I love him. I was really impressed with what I saw out of Mariota.
No, I mean, he did play well. He gave us a chance. I hope we win with him. You know, like I said, there's no reason to bring Carr back, right? It's not like we're going to get in the playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't even think there's like a meltdown on one of the teams that we can get in the playoffs. So might as well just let him play. Let's see what we can get out of him.
Well, technically there is like one way, but like basically everyone has to collapse and we have to win out.
Yeah, so just play Mariota. Let's get the footage. Let's get these 2 wins.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if Cincinnati can beat Pittsburgh, I can keep my fingers crossed for at least one more week.
Oh, dude, that made me so happy watching that. I was so happy. Loved watching the Steelers lose.
I love seeing them lose 3 in a row.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? Starting off against a team with no name.
Correct.
Ooh.
All right. Thanks again to our listeners for joining us on the Only Nation podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Kevlar Prom Dress. You can also find me on Instagram at Kevlar Prom Dress.
All right, Raider Nation. I have an important number for you so that you can get in touch with us. Our Google voicemail number is 904-701-8667. Leave us a voicemail or send us a text message to that number. You can also email us at onlynationpod@gmail.com. And you can also find us on both Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. We're also on Facebook and YouTube at the Only Nation Podcast. And you can also find me, Raider Homer, on Facebook under Raider Homer. I also have the Raider Homer channel group, and I have Raider Homer Productions page. I'm on Twitter at Homer Raider, and I'm also on Instagram at Raider Homer.
All right, fans, be sure to like and subscribe to us, the Only Nation Podcast, on your favorite social media account and podcasting app. Make sure to leave your name, address, and phone number. Call us and give us your feedback and tell us what your holiday wishes are. 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Call us now and join the Only Nation Podcast family. You can also find me on social media, on YouTube at T3 Sports Guy, or on Twitter at T3_sports703.
Until next time, everyone, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Raiders! Return of Scooby one more time.